An embargo 6 decades in existence and described in this hall as an economic noose around Cuba's neck. As country after country implored the United States to change its policy that has affected Cuba's sustainable development goal aspirations and bilateral trade and investment between Pretoria and Havana.
South Africa has noted with concern the escalation of U.S. aggression against Cuba and the region and the rolling back of the previous U.S. administration policy of engagements with Cuba. South Africa condemns the activations as announced on the 3rd April 2019 of the Title 3rd of the 1996 Helms-Burton Act, which allow legal actions through U.S. courts for repatriation following the nationalization of properties in Cuba in 1959. The intensification of the extraterritorial application of the embargo through the activation of Title 3rd of the Helms-Burton Act is strongly rejected by South Africa, as third countries are increasingly discouraged to pursue normal trade and investment opportunities with Cuba.
In addition to the embargo, the Trump administration has allowed U.S. citizens to file lawsuits against Cuban and foreign companies over property seized during the Cuban Revolution under legislation waived by previous presidents. It has sanctioned nearly 200 Cuban military-run companies and hotels. It's banned trips by U.S. cruise ships and recreational vessels to the country, and recently suspended commercial flights to 9 Cuban destinations, excluding Havana.
The Group of 77 and China would like to express our deep concern about the prolonged negative effects that the economic sanctions and travel restrictions have had on Cuba and its people. From April 2018 to March this year, the impact of the U.S. embargo on Cuba's foreign trade amounts to more than $4 billion.
We view Cuba as an integral part of our Caribbean civilization, which threatens no one. CARICOM continues to support the sovereign rights of Cuba to choose its own path in a manner it deems beneficial to its social and economic development. The embargo imposed against Cuba violates international law and is an anachronism and aberration in the world of today.
Russia accused the United States of threatening the whole system of international relations through what it called discriminatory practices.
These acts undermine the pillars of global and regional stability and raises force as a diktat, as a norm of international relations, American style. The question lies in the following: who will become the next insubordinate party, so to speak? For life amid sanctions today is a reality not merely for Cuba and not merely for Russia, but essentially for a third of countries worldwide.
The Assembly is expected to hear from both Cuba and the United States Thursday, when the General Assembly is due to vote on the resolution. Last year's vote passed with 189 countries in support and 2 against, but remains an unenforceable text as it requires a change in domestic U.S. legislation. Sherwin Bryceby's SABC News, New York.